Yo YouTube! This is my video for Friday the 1st of November, and I've got a job which I'm on the way to now, which I'll tell you about. It is picking up from March in Cambridgeshire and going to Highbridge, which is a TA postcode, so I think it's Devon, sort of just south of Bristol. I've got to get to March now, which is 45 minutes away for 9 o'clock, and that's 29 dead miles. And the job that I've got is a short wheelbase van job, going 212 loaded miles, and I'm getting £215, 215. So I'm pretty pleased with that. My plan for today is to get this job done and then probably head up to Bristol. My vague plan is get to Bristol, get a job from there to London, then go home, dead mile at home. And if we do that, it should be a reasonably easy day, and it should be my best paid day for a long time. But you know, who knows? These things are always very flexible. So I leave being optimistic and looking forward to the day, and I'll let you know later on in the day how it goes. Right, since I published my video last night about fireworks, I've had a chance to do a bit more research about the exemptions that are specified in the government released authorisation 1051, which is a temporary exemption to some of the aspects of the ADR regulations. And I'm just going to reflect upon that and give you my summary at the end of this bit of video. So the first thing is, as a layperson reading that authorisation, it sounded a bit like they were temporarily taking away the ADR regulations, which doesn't make a lot of sense if you know how many regulations there are. And then when I looked at the actual specified ones, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There were 6 specified exceptions in it. So I had a look at what those were. These are what they mentioned. So it's ADR regulation 8.1.2.2a, which is about having a certain certificate. 9.1.2 is basically about the type of vehicle that is specialised for carrying explosives. 9.2.2.4 is about the vehicle batteries insulation. 9.2.4.8.5, and then there's 9.3.3, the second subparagraph, and 9.3.7.3, the second subparagraph of that. So those are the 6 regulations that are now exempted temporarily. And I looked at all of those, I read them all, and I absorbed what they were saying, and I came out with a conclusion, and this is my conclusion. For someone like me, who is not ADR trained, doesn't have ADR equipment on board, and certainly is not insured to do ADR work, I should not be doing firework. And these exemptions do nothing to make me feel like I should change that. So these exemptions are quite technical in nature, and most drivers are not going to be doing what I did, looking into these and trying to analyse them, unless you actually specialise in doing ADR work. So bottom line is, people like me should not be taking fireworks on their vans. It's really simple. So because of the way my brain works, I've said something else now. I know that legally and insurance-wise, you shouldn't be doing this. But I also know that in the real world, people will still do it. Now, I'm not going to do it. I'm making a decision, having done a bit of research, that it's not a risk that I'm willing to take. I'm not willing to risk my safety or the safety of my van or my economic safety, and so I will not be taking any load that mentions or has fireworks. But I'm perfectly aware, I'm not naive, that in the real world there'll be people out there, either through ignorance or because they just don't care less, they're still going to do it. But that's up to them to do how they want to work. And then the last point I want to make is, now that I've got that clear in my head, I feel a lot more comfortable now with going to a situation. And if I find I'm at a loading point and there is fireworks involved, I will just decline to take that load. I won't feel conflicted or feel I'm letting someone down. If it's not in the notes and I'm not told about it by the shipper and I end up arriving on site and it's fireworks, it's not my fault that I'm going to decline that load. So for me, I feel a bit more reassured now that I'm a bit more informed and I know what I'm going to do given a situation, because in the moment it can be quite hard for me to react quickly and do the right thing in the moment. I find that difficult sometimes, particularly when something quite technical like this. I'm not being sort of trained in it. So yeah, there you go. That's my update. I think that authorization 1051 makes no difference in terms of the exceptions for someone like me. Right, quick update. I picked up my load from March, just one pallet. I arrived on site at 9:05 and I didn't get off site until 9:36 in the end. They were faffing about trying to find it, and eventually got it on board, one pallet, and then was off on my way to Highbridge. It was a 4-hour and a quarter journey, so my ETA is 2 o'clock, although there is a bit of traffic on the way, so that could change by the time I get up there. My route is from March is down to the A14, across to the M6, then down the M5, sort of south of Birmingham. So I'm on my way. I'm going to get to Highbridge, I said, about between 2 and 2:30, I reckon, and then I'm going to aim to get somewhere before the end of the day which has got some work, probably Bristol, but we'll see. Bristol's 45 minutes north, so I might well end up in Bristol about 4 o'clock, hopefully in time to do one other job on the way back. But I'll let you know what happens later. Hello there, it is now 1:30. I've just popped into Weston-super-Mare Morrison's to get some fuel, and now I'm getting back onto the M5, and I'm only 15 minutes away from my drop-off. So I'm hoping to get this off quickly and be turned around for about 2 o'clock, and then be able to look for another job somewhere back up towards where I live. I have got a job booked in for Monday now, and it is an earlier start going to Birmingham, so not a bad job. I'm getting a reasonably low rate, just over £1 a mile for a long wheelbase van job, £1.10 a mile I'm getting, and I may have underpriced it because I'm working on this week's figures. It's hard to tell. I got a call pretty quickly for it. It's from Peterborough. There's a lot of drivers in Peterborough, so I don't know if I've underpriced it for next week or whether it's just happened to be because I'm early and one of the first ones booking. One thing to note though is I did ask the shipper what it was I was taking, and the answer I got was, and I quote, "Dunno, mate." End of quote. And so my response was, "Oh, okay." I didn't know what else to say. And then he said, "I'll put the job through to you then." So he did that. It was all a bit rushed. So because of my concern that I might be taking fireworks, I did look at the customer name I'm collecting from, and they've got nothing to do with anything with fireworks. They're a Windows company, so I'm sure they're not manufacturing and delivering any windows with fireworks in them. So that was done for Monday. I've now just got to get one decent job back, and then I'm finished for the weekend. So we'll find out when I get to my destination what it's like around here. I have actually, in the last half an hour, gone through all the CX jobs, just counted everything that's not near me now. Everything's from home stuff for today or for Monday. I've cancelled all that. And there is actually a job, which I'm not going to talk about yet in case I don't get it. It's a job 45 minutes away from my drop-off, going to the northeast. And that would be it's a long wheelbase van job. That would be a nice little job I could do, a nice big job I could do, which would really round off not just today but the week. But I'm about half an hour too late. They want it collected by, I think, 2 o'clock, and I'm not going to even be able to offload until 2, and I'm 45 minutes away. So really I need to see if that gets re-advertised for like another hour. If it does, I'll be jumping on that very quickly. Right, I'll let you know how it goes. I've just got an update. It's a bit of a mini result, I would say, considering what could have happened to me today. So I eventually got offloaded with my pallet at 2:15, having gone initially to the right depot, didn't see any labelling, used Google Maps to go to the wrong depot, and then went back to the right depot. And I was off site at 2:15 looking for jobs back north or east or both. And the job that was going to Stockton, well, it was going to the northeast. I looked at the time. I didn't get a chance to bid in the end because it went from Shepton Mallet to the northeast. And if I had done it, I would have had to have tramped out in the northeast tonight. There's no way I could have done the 6.5 hours from here to the northeast and then got home in time for tonight. When I looked at other jobs locally, there wasn't an awful lot. Obviously, I wasn't expecting there to be an awful lot. But when I came down from Bristol to here, it was half an hour, and in my naivety, I thought it'd be about half an hour going back. But no, it's Friday, it's the southwest, and it's an hour and a half to get from here to Bristol. So I started to wonder what to do. Jobs were sporadic, but one came from Bristol to Derby, which I bid on for 4 o'clock pickup, and one came from Taunton going to Oxford, which was sort of on the way. I thought I had a good chance of getting that. So it's a medium wheelbase van, a Taunton to Oxford one. That didn't get sold in the end. I got a job before then. That was on for a long time. And the Bristol to Derby one I put a bid on, but I was actually an hour and a half away when I put the bid on. And so I started making a move, got into the traffic, and the job came up from Bridgewater to Swindon. I put a bid on it, and according to Google Maps, I was sort of 20 minutes away. It actually turns out I've got this job. I'm 15 minutes away from the pickup. It's 5 miles away from where I am. It's a small van job going from Bridgewater to Swindon for immediate pickup, ASAP delivery, and it's 74 loaded miles. And I put £60 on and got that job pretty quickly. It's about 75p a mile, which I'm okay with that because it gets me out of this area, and it means I can kind of avoid, I think, going along the motorway. I'm going to try and go cross country to Swindon, avoid the motorway up to Bristol, which is very congested at the moment. We'll see how it goes. So even if I get nothing else, I'll be on 275 for the day, take off fuel, so it won't be a disaster. It won't necessarily be the best paying day I've had, but it won't be a disaster at least. So I will have managed to get home tonight and have a reasonable amount of money. I don't think I'm going to get this Swindon one delivered before 5 o'clock. We'll see, but I suspect that traffic will be very difficult getting back up north. But we'll see how it goes. I'm still a little bit hopeful. At this point in time, mood-wise, nothing's gone wrong really today. So I can't say it's been a bad day. It's been a nice drive down. People have been nice. Any mistakes have been my mistakes, no one else's. So I could have been 15 minutes quicker if I'd gone straight to the right depot, but I really don't think it would have made much difference to my day. I could have bid less on the jobs I bid on and maybe got them, but I'm happy with what I've got. So I'm now 6 minutes away from a pickup, and I will update you when I'm somewhere near or on the way to Swindon. Okay, so I've picked up my item from Bridgwater, and I've made a decision to not go to Swindon via Bristol because the motorway M5 is so congested. It's actually a little bit longer in time the way I'm going, but my rationale is the way that I'm going is more direct in terms of distance, but it has no delays at the moment, whereas although the delays at the moment are saying it's a 2-hour journey via Bristol, it could change to easily more than that. Anything could go wrong between Bridgwater and Bristol, so rather than risk getting stuck in traffic all afternoon, I'm taking a slight calculated risk that adding an extra few minutes to my journey going across country would be, in the long run, better for me. Also, it has the advantage of having much nicer views to look at, and I'm just driving, not having to stop start all the time. So I'm due to arrive in Swindon at 5:30, and there was one slight issue. And when I arrived at the pickup point, they gave me quite a large box. Personally, I think that this is a small van job. It was sold as a car job, and it's another one of those where I think, nah, this car job shouldn't exist. The box I'm taking is 62 centimetres wide by 62 centimetres deep and 64 high, so it's a pretty substantial cube. I think you've struggled to fit that in most cars, and I think it's been missold as a car job, in my opinion. What do you think? If you were carrying a box of those dimensions, would you think it was a car job or a small van job? So my hope is I'll get to Swindon. Oh yes, the other thing is, sorry, I forgot to mention, the other thing is the address that I was given on CX is different to the address that I was given on the paperwork. And so I double checked with the people that gave me the box it was the right item, and they said it was. And then I rang the shipper and said, there are 2 different addresses here. Which address would you like me to send them to? Go to. And they confirmed it was the address they gave me on CX. So I'm going to take it there. To cover myself, I've written a note in the pickup bit of CX. At the bottom there's a note section. And I've taken the name of the person at the shipper that told me what to do, and I put a note saying I was told to go to the address on CX. So I've covered myself as a driver. The problem with this though is if I have been given the wrong information, I'll have to resolve it at the other end myself. So at the moment I'm just going to assume it's correct, but if it's not correct, it's Muggins' driver that has to deal with it. And I'm going to try and be optimistic and assume it'll be right. It's the right item, going to the right location, and it'll be dark until I get there, won't it? It's very light at the moment. I've got 2.25 hours to go, and it'll be dark by the time I get there. So this will be my last video in the light. Okay, just a few reflections on the job that I'm doing at the moment that make it a little bit strange compared to the usual job. When I was rung about this, the guy that was talking to me, as I said in my previous video, was a bit hard to understand, was rushing it a bit, and I just got a sense that he wasn't that committed to providing the best information. But I think he didn't say anything wrong, and there's nothing wrong with the conversation. It's just I got just a sense from the kind of tone of voice and things. He wasn't necessarily into customer service, let's put it that way. So, move on. I had the conversation about the different addresses, and when I rang the shipper A back, so I'm going to call shipper A the person that is on the company that is on the CX booking. When I tried to ring company A back, it didn't work, the number didn't work, so I had to just recall the number that had called me to give me the job. And when they answered the phone, they answered it with a different name. Let's call that company B. So that's my first indication that something was not quite correct, or not, maybe not correct, not quite usual for this. And then about half an hour into my trip, I had a phone call from company B asking me if I'd picked up yet. Now I was thinking, I have updated CX, surely it's all on there. But in the moment I just told them, yes, I picked up at 3:05. And then they were going to go off the phone, and I said, do you want to know my ETA? And she said, oh yeah, okay, I have that. So I told her my estimated time of arrival at the delivery place. And then she put the phone down. And it was confusing me as to why did they not just look on the CX? And then I realised, oh, they don't have access to the CX, do they? Because the company A, who I'm working for on the CX, is not the same as company B, who is obviously working for somebody else. So I don't know how it stands. All I'm going to say is, I don't like this situation. I don't really know who I'm working for. Is it company A, who's on the CX booking, but I can't ring them, and any contact I'm having is at company B? Or is it the other company, company B, who I have no idea what their relationship is to company A, if any, or the customer, if any? So it's all a bit icky from my point of view. I like things to be simple and know who I'm dealing with, and so I know if I have problems, I know who to sort of refer back to. Anyway, hopefully there'll be no problems. Hopefully I'll get paid on time by whichever company decides to pay me. But it is a bit strange, and so I'd recognise the fact in this video. Right, hi there. Last video of the day for Friday, the 1st of November. So I dropped off that so-called car job. We're at 5 to 6, and in the end the guy that I was delivering to was the owner of the business that had the address and the paperwork, so it would have gone, he could have gone to his business address or his home address, it didn't matter. So that was good, that was all sorted out. And then I made my way just out of the area I was in, and had a quick bite to eat, and it was sort of basically too late to find another job. So I'm just heading home now. It was a 3-hour journey from Swindon to my house, and so far I feel okay. I've got another I would say hour and a half left to go. So tiredness wise I'm fine. I've done my stats for the day and for the week, and it's been an okay day today, but it's been a very bad week again, as it has been for the last few weeks. So without any further ado, let me tell you my stats. So I've filled up fuel today, so I've got a new average fuel price for this week, and that's 13.68 pence per mile. I have driven today 462 miles, 462. I will have worked 13 and a quarter hours by the time I get home. I've earned from 2 CX jobs a gross amount of £275, 275, and I've spent £63.20 on fuel, which means that today my net earnings after fuel taken into account comes to £212. 212. So effectively, my job from Bridgewater to Swindon paid for all my fuel for the day, effectively, that one job. So I can't really complain about that day, considering what it's been like the last few weeks. It was really quiet in as I thought it might be in the southwest, and the M5 being so busy up to Bristol kind of put a kibosh on that plan. So I think I'm happy, I was satisfied with the outcome of today. Moving on to the weekly summary. So this is going to be based on 3 days work. In total this week I've worked for 34.25 hours. I have driven for 1,024 miles, 1024. I've only earned, it's quite a small number, £635 gross, 635. I've spent £139.13 on fuel, so 139 on fuel. And that means that my earnings net of fuel for the week, £496, 496. My pence per mile that I earned this week after taking into account fuel is slightly up on the last few weeks, 48.43 pence per mile. So every mile that I've driven, once you take into account fuel costs, that's what I've earned from door to door. And then my average amount of money earned per day this week is, after fuel, is £165.29. That's 165. And the amount of money that I've earned after taking into account business costs per hour of work this week is £7.47 an hour. That's the end of my day. I have got a job on Monday, and I'll be back and do a video for Monday's work. So thank you very much for listening to my video. I hope that you are being successful, however you choose to define that word for yourselves. Farewell, friends.